Friends from the press, good afternoon. Welcome to today's regular press conference. The floor is open to questions.
谢谢发言人，总台央视记。
Thank you.
2026全球人。
We've learned that the 2026 Forum on Global Human Rights Governance will be held in Beijing from June 11th to 12th. Through commemorating the 40th anniversary of the Declaration on the Right to Development, various parties will have discussions on global human rights governance. Can you share more details? The 2026 Forum on Global Human Rights Governance will be held in Beijing from June 11th to 12th. From more than 400 guests from over 100 countries, including China, as well as the UN and other international and regional organizations, will participate in the forum upon invitation. Themed on joint development, shared human rights, the 40th anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration on the Right to Development and a new vision for global human rights governance. The forum is co-hosted by China's State Council Information Office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In addition to the opening ceremony and the plenary meeting, there will be 5 sub-forums on the following topics: the human rights implementations of the Global Governance Initiative, the role and significance of the right to development in the evolution of global human rights, safeguarding the right to development in the age of AI, emerging challenges and opportunities, green development and the protection of human rights, and modernization, people's free and comprehensive development. China expects that various parties can exchange their views, learn from each other, and build consensus on the philosophy of promoting human rights through development, so as to turn the visions in the Declaration on the Right to Development into reality and build a just, equitable, and inclusive global human rights governance system together. Next one, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Bloomberg News. The EU is advancing a proposal that would force companies to avoid over-dependency in their supply chains. This comes as the bloc is looking to reset its trade relationship with China. Would the Foreign Ministry like to comment? Thank you.
China has already made that on multiple occasions that China and the European steep integration and mutual dependence in terms of industrial supply chains are shaped by economic globalization and market force, and this serves both sides' interests. After hearing your question, I want to ask that European companies making choices based on cost, technology, and efficiency, how come is this over-dependence? The so-called European diversification, isn't it just another version of protectionism? I also want to point out that the European measures cannot make the European industry more competitive. And this certainly going against the EU's own stated principles of market economy, fair competition, and free trade. There's an old adage from China that do not do unto others what you would not have others do unto you. China-EU trade is not a zero-sum game, and there's no reason why China and EU cannot succeed together. The Chinese side attitude is very open and positive. We hope the EU will work with Chinese side to find solutions through dialogue and consultation, and let the business communities and people of both sides to benefit even more from China-EU trade. Next question, please.
Thank you. A question from AFP on President Xi's visit to the DPRK. There are some analysts who have been suggesting that China has already tacitly accepted North Korea's status as a nuclear weapons state. So I'd like to ask if President Xi will discuss the North's nuclear weapons program when he meets with Kim Jong-un. And secondly, does China now accept the North possessing nuclear weapons, or is it still pushing for denuclearization on the peninsula? Thank you.
中方在
On the Korean Peninsula issue, China's policy has maintained continuity and stability. On President Xi Jinping's state visit to DPRK, we'll release readouts. Please stay tuned.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Thank you, Ukraine Foreign News Agency. Question on the Russian-Ukrainian war. Ukrainian authorities reported that Russian military struck a spent nuclear fuel storage facility near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This is another deliberate Russia's attack on nuclear infrastructure facility in Ukraine, which, along with the occupation of Zaporizhia NPP and other Russia's actions, poses threats to nuclear and radiation safety. How does the Foreign Ministry can comment on Russia's ongoing attempts to cause a nuclear disaster in Ukraine? Thank you.
China attaches high importance to the safety and security of nuclear facilities. The ultimate resolution of this issue in the context of the Ukraine crisis is contingent on the political settlement of the conflict. Dialogue and negotiation is the only viable way out. China calls on the parties concerned to work for early de-escalation and accumulate conditions for resuming dialogue and negotiation.
From PTI. Russian President Mr. Vladimir Putin, in his wide-ranging interviews last week with media in Moscow, has spoken elaborately about Russia-India-China relations. And especially in his comments, of course, I forwarded some of his comments to you. He says the India-China relations are a delicate, multifaceted relationship, and interfering in them is not a good idea. That is about any mediation by Russia. Of course, we interact with them, both our friends and both India and China. President Xi and Prime Minister Modi are both trying to resolve all issues of mutual interest, including border issue. These are his comments. And he stressed that Moscow is growing synergy within New Delhi does not come at Beijing's expense. And Russia established these relations independent of each other. It's happening naturally. Relations between India and China, relations between Russia and India, as well as China and Russia, do not disturb each other in any way. He has also spoken about historical background of the relations between, of course, the BRICS evolution, how he played a role about it. And at the same time, he has also spoken about India's concerns related to China-Pakistan relations. He said he does not believe that Pakistan was under control of China. Pakistan is a larger country which has multifaceted ties with different countries. And of course, it's very important to take into account the China-Pakistan cooperation. Sorry, it's a long question, but its comments are significant. It would be good if you can just react to this.
Your question is indeed very long. China, Russia, and India are all emerging economies. Maintaining sound relations is not only in the respective interests of the three countries, but also conducive to regional and global peace, security, stability, and prosperity. China is ready to keep in communication with Russia and India on advancing cooperation among the three countries. Currently, the China-India border situation is generally stable, and the two sides have smooth communication channels. China and India need to stick to the perception that the two countries are cooperation partners, not competition rivals, and are opportunities, not threats. This kind of right strategic perception, and the two sides need to view and handle the bilateral relations from a strategic height and long-term perspective, enhance mutual trust, expand cooperation, properly handle difference, and promote the sound and steady development of China-India relations. On India-Pakistan relations, China has made clear its position on multiple occasions. We support the two sides in properly handling differences through dialogue and consultation, and jointly keeping the region peaceful and stable. Next question, please.
大家还有其他问题吗？
Any other questions?
Sorry, thank you. Another one from AFP. I just wondered if the Foreign Ministry had a comment on Iran and Israel, who have both launched strikes against each other over the weekend. Yeah, any comment on this? Thank you.
China is deeply concerned over the current situation. Another round of fight does not serve any party's interests. We hope that relevant parties to honor the commitment of ceasefire, keep to the momentum of negotiation, and stay committed to resolving disputes through diplomatic and political channels, and create necessary conditions for restoring regional peace and stability in the Middle East and Gulf region. Next question. Any other questions? Then that's the end of today's regular press conference. Thank you.